Okay, so today, guys, I wanted to read what the wrap-up smear was. Well, is. The wrap-up smear is a political strategy that involves spreading false or misleading information, getting the media to report on it, and then using that media coverage as evidence to legitimize the false claim is essentially a loop of disinformation. Here's a breakdown of how it works. Wrap-up smear strategy. Smear, a politician or an operative plant a false or exaggerated story about an opponent. Wrap up. The planted story is picked up and reported by the media, especially if it sounds scandalous or newsworthy. Smear confirmed. The original source cites the media coverage as proof that the story is credible or important, even though they started it themselves. For example, let's say a politician wants to damage a rival's reputation. They quietly leak a false story that their opponent is under investigation for corruption. A blog or tabloid picks it up and runs with it. Then the original politician goes on TV and says, even the media is reporting that my opponent is corrupt. In reality, they manufactured the whole thing. Nancy Pelosi publicly described this tactic in 2017, ironically, as a criticism of others using it, in her words. So, in so many words, America using it. You smear somebody with falsehoods and all the rest, and then you merchandise it. And then you say, see, it's reported in the press that this, and this. So they have that validation that the press reported the smear, and then it's called a wrap-up smear. So basically, in so many words, this is what America has been doing for years when it comes to not just the black community. I'm going to say the black community mainly, but with everyone. They make up these stories. So think of Trayvon Martin with George Zimmerman, Sandra. It's so many people that you can name that you really don't want to name because it's like, your heart goes out to these people and their families. But think about it. Around every election, right before election, there's a black person that ends up murdered by a white cop, or a black person that ends up murdered by another race of minorities. It's always a black person murdered, so they can literally pander on the black person's emotional energy. Okay, I didn't want to use the word energy, but I had to. They want to pander to that because the more we fear and the more we are outraged, the more we show our emotions publicly, they become more powerful. If that makes sense? They become more powerful. They swear we are the weakest race of all, but think about it. They always need our vote. They always need our opinion. They literally depend on everything when it comes to us. We have to really start having better discernment with things that is going on in the world, because they are truly ending us day by day. And if we don't become more alert about what's going on, it's going to go on forever, and our kids are going to suffer tremendously.